at Ramnagar here. This is a district, small district close to Bangalore in the state of Karnataka. So I'll be doing a presentation on behalf of the district of Ramnagar and the Department of RDPR in the district of Ramnagar. The topic of a presentation is the rejuvenation of Kalyanis, step backward. So Kalyanis, before I begin, it's a Kannada word for in what we call in English as stepwells. Stepwells are ancient medieval historical structures which are part of our ancient heritage. There are some Kalyanis that were created during the 10th, 11th and 12th centuries, and a lot of them were created in the 15th and 16th centuries, whom we call as Nadu Prabhu Kempegowda. He was a chieftain under the Vijayanagara Empire. And during his time, there were hundreds of Kalyanis created across southern Karnataka in the districts of Ramnagar, Mysore, Mandya, Hassan, and other places. So that is a brief history of Kalyanis. Their purposes were various. They served as groundwater recharge structures. They served as a place for collection of all the rainwater, where it falls, when it falls. It was used for public purposes. People used to use it for domestic purposes. Cattle used to use it for drinking waters. And there is another variant of Kalyanis called Pushkarnis. Those were created near the temples, and they had religious significance, and the local festivals would start from there, and the pujas for the local deities would begin with a yatra from the neighboring Kalyani to the temple. So present state of the Kalyanis, unfortunately, when we began this Abhiyan, most of the Kalyanis that we came across were in disrepair, in disuse, and most of them were filled with silt, and a lot of them were unrecognizable. So that is the brief background to the Kalyanis that we identified. Ramnagar is unique in the sense because these Kalyanis, Kempegowda is from Ramnagar, from a small taluka called Magdi. He was the chieftain of the Vijayanagara Empire. So a lot of these Kalyanis were created during his time. And unfortunately, over the period of many years and decades, their significance had been lost, and their identity also had been diluted. So that's the background and how they were identified. I just want to start with that. It is an interesting story when we went for the survey of a couple of NREGA works in the fields of a village called Kalya, which again has historical importance. We randomly happened to cross by a couple of Kalyanis which were totally covered. They were not identifiable. It was difficult to see them. And that's when we first renovated our first Kalyani. And then subsequently, we began a movement where we would send all our Gram Panchayat level secretaries and Panchayat officers to the field to identify such structures. So that was how we were able to identify about 110 such Kalyanis across the district. And then once we started identifying and repairing these structures, people came forward themselves and said, "Oh, sir, you've developed a Kalyani there. Next to my field, there's one Kalyani. Please get it repaired." Subsequently, so a number of such Kalyanis were identified, and thirdly, through newspaper ads. Once we realized that there is such a, they are made in such big numbers, we gave a couple of newspaper ads in prominent Kannada newspapers such as Vijay Karnataka and Vishwavani. People called us back saying it's there in our lands, it's there in a public land next to our house, and so on and so forth. So that way we've been able to identify more than 110 Kalyanis in the last financial year. And we've been able to repair and reuse most of them. And I'll be showing you some of the pictures of how they've been rejuvenated. And some of the works are still ongoing. So the another unique thing about the project is, like, how do you start developing these structures, right? And the question is always of manpower and of resources. And how do you go about doing these things? So we decided to use NREGA to rejuvenate and restructure these Kalyanis, because NREGA gives us the finances and it also gives us the manpower to be able to do these things. And luckily for us, it was period of COVID. So a lot of the migrants from Ramnagar, because of its proximity to Bangalore, many of the people used to work in Bangalore who came back in the months of April, May, June, July, August of last year. So we had a ready manpower, which otherwise was very difficult to get, because the labor charges being close to Bangalore were much higher than what they used to give in Ramnagar in the private sector. So we got the funds through NREGA. We got the human manpower and the labor through NREGA. And then the question was, how do you develop it? Is there a scientific way in which you develop a Kalyani, or is it simply a cement and a brick and mortar sort of a thing? So then we contacted the local archaeology department, the state archaeology department of Karnataka, and it was then that we realized that it has to be done through silt and clay, and purely through stone. And obviously there has to be no use of cement and any of these modern materials that we use. So we got a couple of people from the archaeology department to come and work with our engineers in NREGA. And about 20-25 of our engineers are now extremely well trained in order to take up and restoration of these traditional structures in a traditional manner. And then we formed something called, as you can see in the presentation there, we formed something called village sanitation committees always existed. But we formed something called a Kalyani task force in order to mobilize people and get the Gram Panchayat members interested in these sort of things. And so, the engineers who were trained would go and work with the Gram Panchayat task force, identify these Kalyanis, and they would figure out a detailed plan to restructure and renovate these Kalyanis. This is just a traditional a layout of a Kalyani and how it looks. It's a traditional step well made of stone, and then they use silt and they use clay. In some places they use mortar also for the preparation of these step wells. One unique thing which is not there in this drawing is in some of the Kalyanis of Ramnagara, in a particular taluka and about 5 or 6 Gram Panchayats, you will see a one-stepped Kalyani. This is a four-sided Kalyani that you see in the screen. But as we went on discovering more and more Kalyanis, we saw that there are one-sided Kalyanis. So there would be a step coming down and there would be a vertical wall on the other end. We discovered, a couple of such variants of Kalyanis. And one interesting fact about these Kalyanis, I think I'll be able to show in some of the subsequent photos. Magdi and Ramnagara are drought-prone areas. They've been declared as droughted for the last 2-3 years. So we drill bore wells to 700, 800, and 900 feet every year, and still some of our bore wells we don't find water. But these Kalyanis and step wells are about, say, 100 feet maximum to 120 feet. And a couple of them automatically there has been a groundwater recharge. So the aquifer water table beneath the Kalyani has been able to fill up the Kalyanis with water. And this is not in the monsoon. This was after the monsoon in the dry area. So that was a very interesting factor. And we want to do a study and see how in those days the water table and the aquifers were identified for location of these structures. So these are just some examples of the kind of work we've done, and the data below shows in terms of development of lakes, we've done 11547, but obviously that's not a part of our presentation today. Specifically about Kalyanis, it's also mentioned there, and canal development and multi-arch check dams that has been done under a convergence in NREGA. So when we started, another point that I want to highlight is we categorize these Kalyanis into good, bad, and worst conditions. So some of them were in good condition, some of them in bad, and some of them also in unrecognizable state. So we categorized them, and accordingly action plans were made with the help of the state archaeology on how to revive these Kalyanis. Just want to show you just a couple of reasons for extermination, possible reasons. A lot of these Kalyanis were used as dumps. You can see the photo on the left. It is totally filled with weed, and forest has developed over there. Stones that are demolished. And so, just from far, some of them just look, if you look at the bottom right, it just looks like a pond pool of water that has been collected. In some of them we saw that, it was used as a dumpster, unfortunately. And obviously because of bore wells and other things, many of them had dried out. So this was the status of the Kalyanis. I've already explained the process, how our NREGA team worked with the state archaeology, and a task force was formed to revive these Kalyanis. Just want to show you a couple of pictures of some Kalyanis. This is the one at Biskur village in the taluka of Magdi. It was renovated at a cost of rupees 10 lakhs, and about 2,50,000 was labor wages under NREGA. You can see how it was before, and then what had happened, how it turned out to be later after we worked on it under NREGA to restore it. And most of this water, this photo was taken post monsoon. So this is not just rainwater, but this is also the groundwater aquifer that has recharged that Kalyani. Another photo I want to show is of Tipsandra village. As you can see at the top, it is unrecognizable. Nobody can tell that there was an existing water structure there. This was the first one, one of the first ones that we identified when we went for an inspection. and we realized that something is over there. And then we had to, when we took up the restoration work, and that's how it ended up in the end, as you can see at the bottom. Couple of other photos. This one is again another Kalyani in the village of Tipsandra. This is in a village called Sugnalli. As you see, before and after, complete transformation, drastic change in how it was and how it looks. This is another step well that I was talking to you about. This is a different variant. It's not that four-sided step well. This is a one-sided step well with a vertical wall on the other side. Another one, reviving of Kalyani at Bhairaveshwara Swami temple in Neelasandra. So as you can see before, well, this is sort of a middle picture that I've put over there. And then the after picture at the very end, developed at the cost of rupees 10 lakh rupees. Just want to show you a video of another Kalyani if I get 2 more minutes from you, how it was restored. I'll just play this video for you all. This is from, okay, I'm not able to play the video. I'm not able to play the video, and maybe I'll share.
I think there is some problem with video playing today.
Yeah,
you can see the other one also.
I'll share the video. It's hardly a 30-second clip that I've reduced of before and after of another Magdi of another Kalyani in the Taluka of Kanakpura. Maybe you can have a look at it at your leisure. It's really informative and educative as well. So that's the presentation of mine. Going forward, I just wanted to tell you that couple of challenges that we are facing now that we've renovated about 100 of them. So what do we do? How do we maintain them? You don't want them to go back to the same stage that they were in before. So one of the things that we're trying to do is, this is a month where all these jatras, village festivals start to take place. So we are planning to inaugurate and start using these Kalyanis through these jatras, where we take the local deity and perform the puja, involve the local community and involve the Kalyani. So they see it as a living, breathing structure and not just structure from the olden days, which is a relic of the olden days. Also, if you know that we've started a Jal Jeevan mission this year, in which the village sanitation and Jal committees are performing a very crucial role. They'll also be, we'll be installing meters for every household, for every functional household tap connection. So we are passing resolutions in each Gram Panchayat, where part of the income that we collect from these functional tap connections and water services is going to go towards the maintenance of these Kalyanis. And this will be maintained through our Gram Panchayat level SHG groups. So a couple of consequences, as I've already mentioned, revival of ancient, structures, our cultural heritage, and obviously coming in the coming monsoon, we hope that all of these water bodies will have water in them. And obviously the third is a sense of pride and belonging among the community, that this was existing before, because people are coming forward to do it now, and it's not just a bureaucratic top-down approach. So very, very glad that this kind of a movement is taking place, and I believe that we have another 50 to 70 more that we can still do, and every day more and more people are coming forward to participate in this movement. Thank you.
I think you have done well, especially because Ramnagar is a drought-prone district. I mean, less rainfall now. That is good. But is this water these are potable drinking water, or for other purposes?
No, ma'am. This is not potable drinking water. We've got a couple of them tested. Obviously, it has to be treated. One is it comes from the groundwater aquifer, and also it collects the rainwater. So we're not treating the source of the water. So if you have to make it usable, we have to treat it at the end source after collecting it from the
so maybe you can have a borewell nearby from where water can be treated and taken or something like that. The water table will go up through these Kalyanis.
Exactly, ma'am. That's a wonderful suggestion, and that is what we are planning to do going forward for drinking water. And also this will be used for religious festivals, and it will be used for cattle. Because some of the step wells are not deep and they're safe for access to cattle, and also they will be used for groundwater recharge for the surrounding catchment area.
You said this problem about that you found chloroform in some of the things like that, so then it will not be safe for even the cattle to drink.
Yeah, so that was the state earlier. Now that we have cleaned it, and now that we are maintaining the surrounding area, and we're not because now it's a living structure. It is not a dump yard for garbage and other things.
That is all right. That is all right. But did you locate the source of this kind of pollution, the pollutant? Then only, unless you know where from it is coming, you cannot check it further in future. So are you able to do that?
You're right, ma'am. Yeah. So a couple of reasons of pollution. For example, in one Kalyani that you saw in Tipsandra village, the source of pollution was it was just a dump yard for all the villages to come and throw garbage, and so that led to a lot of filth, and it became a dump yard. So once we've cleaned that and we put fencing around it, now there is no such problem of that. But maybe in perhaps some of the other areas, I think a water quality test will be required, as you suggested, if you're going to use it for drinking water purpose, even for cattle. Valid point.
Even for cattle, yes.
Yeah, I'll look into that.
Good.
Good. I'm impressed with the job that you have done. I think this is really, really good. Your challenge, as you rightly mentioned, is to sustain this effort so that it doesn't go back to the old status over time. And I think you have taken up some very innovative leads in that particular area also. So we really wish you all the best. I think this is an excellent project, and I think this should also be showcased to others so that I think other people should also take initiatives of similar nature to recover some of these of our traditional heritage things which used to be extremely, extremely good. So thank you very much. I think it's an excellent eye-opener.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.